Hello Star Wars action figure fans and collectors, JCC2224 back again with another Star Wars action figure video. Today is a video of the Vintage Collection Wave 1, 2010, which is the very first wave of the Vintage Collection. And today I will be overviewing all the figures of the wave, as well as its impact on collectors. Now, this wave probably is one of the most iconic waves of all Star Wars figures, mainly because it introduced one of the best collections ever to be in the Star Wars line, and that is the Vintage Collection. Now, when people saw this wave in the production photos, some of the figures were actually different. Darth Vader's head was absolutely puny, Luke's face was a little better, and some of them were just a little better. But even though Vader's head was pretty puny in the initial photos for this wave, I am glad that they did decide to enlarge it and also include the two-piece helmet, as well as a removable head and little jaw piece of the helmet. But the collector's impact, a lot of them, actually most of them, really loved this wave. I personally, I really love the wave. You get Dak Ralter, you get practically, you get a really nice Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. You get practically everything you would need to start out your Episode 5 collection. Except, of course, Lando Calrissian, which we really need an update of. But, despite that, the wave was really nice, At first, when it came out, it was pretty easy to find for most. But, some figures weren't really that easy to find, like the AT-AT driver and, C-3PO. Excuse me, AT-AT commander. The Boba Fett was really popular, and, Dak Ralter, he was a major update. But, eventually they did start getting pretty hard to find. Just a few months after their initial release, it became pretty difficult to track down this wave, and that's really the bad part about it. Of course, many of the figures were reissued in the Vintage Collection, but most of them really weren't. They were just, sold in Wave 1, and that's it. Some, of course, did peg warm, and sadly, the really nice 4LOM and the really nice Dengar were probably the biggest peg warmers out of this wave. And initially, when I was just getting back into collecting, it was around the beginning of the Vintage Collection, I started seeing tons of Dengars and 4LOMs on the pegs, and I'm like, why are these figures on the pegs? They're really nice. Eventually, I did get a 4LOM and Dengar, and I must say, why did they peg warm? They were really nice figures. Because I wasn't really a big collector back then, I probably, I don't really know much about the distribution issues at the beginning of the Vintage Collection, but I can tell you this. The beginning of the Vintage Collection, like said in my previous overview, it was both a gift and a curse. It was a really major gift because we got tons of new figures, all high quality. They're just like the Legacy Collection, wonderful figures, really loved them, but a lot of them peg warmed. And, mostly, all collections have their peg warmers, but the Vintage Collection, they contain the king of peg warmers. I mean, if I remember going out to a mire and I saw a Wave 3 Sand Trooper and Clone Trooper, and when I saw them, I saw about 10 others of the same figure. There were literally 10 of each figure there. They were peg warming madness. It was honestly outrageous, and that was mainly the curse of the beginning of the Vintage Collection. But all of these new figures, it really, the fans loved them. They were, screaming, like, we love these figures, you know, we want more, and more is what they gave us, but still had the same issue. Looking back, I saw a lot of Utah clone troopers in my day, a lot of them with yellowed helmets, and they still didn't do good with distribution. We continuously saw multiple pig warmers in the vintage collection, and we also saw multiple rare figures in the vintage collection. Vader himself, I'm not sure if he was really hard to find back then. He probably was, but he has been thankfully reissued multiple times, so both collectors and, you know, kids can get their hands on Darth Vader. But other figures didn't really share a similar fate. The Han Solo, I think, was kind of hard to obtain, and the AT-AT Commander, he was, you know, he actually goes for really high prices on eBay, and C-3PO, you know, you're even lucky if you can find one. I mean, C-3PO doesn't really go for that much, but, you know, it's really hard to just find one for sale, and that's mainly the biggest problem when it comes to the vintage collection. Now, this wave itself, it contains both pig warmers and rare figures. I was lucky enough to get this whole wave by Christmas of 2011, and some of the figures were pretty hard for me to get. Like that Boba Fett, I actually didn't get single carded. I got in the Episode 5 Blu-ray commemorative set. Those two figures, that Bespin Luke, I actually got free, and that Vader I also didn't get single carded. I got with the I think it's Imperial or Villain set. I think it's the Villain set. And for the rest of the wave itself, I just gradually got them. It was kind of challenging, but it was also really fun. The AT-AT Commander I saw a few times. I think I saw twice in my state, and the one I have in this video I actually got when I was coming home from a vacation in Indiana, because I live in Ohio and I was on vacation in Indiana. But really, there were a lot of figures that I saw only in other states. Like, only until recently, I only saw the Blu-ray wave in, you know, the same state. Not the same state, in another state, as well as Wolf and mostly the AT-AT Commander. So, that's really it with this video. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. I will be doing more of these videos here soon, so stay tuned for that. And if you do want to recommend a wave, and if I do have most of that wave, I can exclude a few, I will, you know, do it. And also, I wouldn't mind some recommendations on things I could improve on, like maybe a few more special effects, or all that. So, that's really it. Have a good day, and may the Force be with you.